up, guys? Welcome to episode number 35. I believe it's episode 35. I think we had a little hiccup with the internet last time. So, yes, this is officially episode number 35. Take on New York Sports. Anthony Heaton here with you. Just waiting on Ava to join in. Got a lot to discuss today. Um, Mostly Yankees and Rangers as we do. Obviously, no point in talking about the Jets or Giants. The Jets, just a blowout loss to the Bills. That's not really surprising. The Giants, luckily, couldn't lose this week because they had the bye. So again, sadly, the NFL front minus Buffalo, from a New York standpoint, is just over. As soon as it starts, pretty much. The Knicks, uh, playing well. Not as good as obviously the first couple games of the season. They've taken a little bit of a step back, but um, it's to be expected, highs and lows and all that. So as far as the Knicks, I mean, right now they sit at 7-6. Okay, the Nets are kind of taking off now with that division at 10-4. But yeah, the Knicks are in a very tough division with the Atlantic. Obviously, the Sixers are good. The Nets, we know, are potential world champion favorites this year. And then the Raptors sitting at 7-7, and even the Celtics at 6-7. Not great, but still a competitive team. But you gotta like what you see from Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett. Kemba's still trying to find his groove a little bit. So you kind of, I don't want to say you give him a pass, but you wait a little bit. He has some time. He needs a little bit of an adjustment period. But he's a pro. He'll do his thing, and it's just nice to have some excitement back at the Garden. From a Knicks standpoint. Um, I guess I'm gonna jump into some of the New York Rangers talk. I don't know where Ava is, but I'm just gonna start with that. Or at this point, let's start with Saturday's game. Now I know the big talk from her is going to be, Jacob Trouba scored, and he has a 3-game point streak now. Listen, we had that great win against Florida, what seemed like eons ago, but that was last Monday. And then you had those 4 days off in between, and then you go to Columbus. And, you beat Columbus earlier this season. But, you figure, I don't know, it's going to be a tougher game, and it was. But you give the Rangers credit because I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through the schedule here. Where are we? There we go. The schedule is it's condensed this year, but at the same time, the Rangers have had 2 4 or 5 day breaks already. Obviously the 3 weeks off in February for the Olympics. That kind of makes the schedule have to be condensed, but they got a bunch of back-to-backs and everything. And speaking of back-to-backs, it seems like that's the time that Alexander Georgiev is going to be getting his his playing time. And listen, I like Georgie. I got nothing against him. He's a good goalie. Not a great goalie, a good goalie. He's not even close to Igor's level, which, is not a knock on him at all, because honestly, a lot of goalies aren't on Igor's level. But you give Georgie mad props. I mean, he played a really good game yesterday, and we know that the breakaways are his, kryptonite, I guess you'd call it. So after the Rangers, they gave up that lead with whatever it was, 2.5 minutes left in the third. The first thing you're thinking, and I know you all were, because I was, we have to win this game in overtime or we're not winning. So, overtime comes, we get a bunch of good chances, we can't finish. The Devils got a couple chances too. Georgie made some big saves. Obviously, I think there was a breakaway also in overtime, and he stopped it. But then you get to a shootout, and that's when you're like, okay, well, he can't stop the breakaways. He gave up a first period goal to Jesper Bratt on a breakaway. Um, so you weren't really feeling too confident at that point. I know I wasn't, at least. And I said to myself, okay, if we're going to lose, at least we got a point. And I hate saying that because I hate the freaking, the rule of, you get to overtime and you get a point. I hate that, especially with division rivals. But that's the way it is. So, you know, when Georgie comes up with those big saves, and I think it was a 7-round shootout, you got to give him credit. And the one save he made where it looked like, I forgot who it was, but they looked like they missed the net. But then Micheletti said that, no, he got it with his skate. He got it with his skate. And then they showed the replay in slow mo, and he kicked his right leg up, and the puck hit off his skate blade. I mean, that was, you know, as Joe Micheletti would say, that was fabulous. And it was. I mean, that was a great save, and it's really good for Georgie as a confidence builder to be able to kind of put, at least put that on the side for now where, he can't stop the breakaways. He can't do that. So it was a nice win for the Rangers, even though, again, we gave up a point because they got to overtime. But listen, a win's a win. We're playing well right now. And, we're sitting, again, I know it's very early in the season, 15 games played, but, we're 1 point behind Carolina for first place in the Metro, which, I mean, what more can you ask for? Couple surprising teams, obviously. Detroit is floating around. The Devils are even surprising. Buffalo, to an extent, is a little surprising. Yeah, let's talk a little negative from that game last night. And that's going to be PK Subban. They, hopefully Sammy Blaze okay, obviously, first and foremost. They had showed a little reel of, I think it was 4 different times where Subban kind of, you don't want to say slew-footed players, but, it looks like, or it looked like, I should say, he took them out. You know, it, dangerous play regardless, whether it was intentional, not intentional, whatever you want to call it, but it was a dangerous play. You saw what he did to Ryan Reeves in the preseason game, where he was, then Reeves had to miss a couple games, obviously. And that play on Sammy Blay in full speed, when you're watching it, you're like, okay, they both went to the boards. Maybe Blay just lost an edge, or they kind of just came together. And his leg, his skate went right into the corner of the boards where it meets the ice, and it just twisted in a way it shouldn't twist. But then you look at the replay in slow mo, and you see Subban kind of, he's going to stop, right? But he kind of extends that right leg a little further to kind of almost, nudge Blay. So, Sammy then loses his edge at that point. Again, hits the board, and I don't know. It didn't look good. Let's just put it that way. So we'll see, how long he's going to be out for. And, now who's going to step into the lineup now, Yeah, so, and I know McKegg was sent back down. That's probably for Heaton, who should be hopefully back and available to, to play next game. Another negative that comes out of, the NHL right now is Ottawa with, I guess they got, 6 million, positive COVID cases or whatever. Oh, there she is. A little late to the party here, but that's all right. Sent
My
the
AirPods
invite.
weren't connecting.
What?
I wasn't connecting. My AirPods weren't connecting.
We missed the Cuba talk. Sorry, so we'll pass that now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
No, we were just talking about the big story of of the day is Luis Rojas, now third base coach.
You
No,
know,
we're still on hockey. We'll get to them in a
okay,
minute,
good.
but we were really talking about the whole incident with Subban and Sammy Blay and how this is becoming, you know,
Common.
kind of a regular thing almost.
Well, I'll tell you this much. He's on thin ice with me already because he's managed to take out one person from my top three teams already.
Mhm.
Because he took out, obviously, Reeves in preseason, took out
Mhm.
Zegras.
Mhm.
Zegras missed a couple games. And he took out Milan Lucic of the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
And now
And
Sammy
again, I
Blay.
was I was saying how you looked at that, you know, in real speed, and it didn't look like much. They both kind of got there, and maybe Blay lost an edge or something like that. But um, then you see it in slow mo, and it looks like he does kind of, Subban does kind of nudge his right leg out there a little further.
My problem is, even if you can make an argument against, maybe it wasn't intentional, how are we
Mm,
supposed to believe it wasn't when he's done it intentionally so many times?
exactly right. It's not like it's a first time thing. He's not a dirty player. This, that, the other thing. He's starting to get that reputation now, and every time something remotely close to this happens, people are going to err on that side.
It's like if Tom Wilson could do literally anything and everyone's gonna call it dirty, and I don't disagree with that, but like
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
you assume that once these guys build a reputation of themselves, that everything they do has ill intentions.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the Reeves one, again, that was a little more clear cut. You could tell that was
Yeah, that was more
more
of a straight kind of
intentional.
slew foot. Yeah.
The Zegers one, completely intentional, dangerous hit, should have gotten
Hmm.
suspended for it. Same with the Lucic hit, was dangerous, and I think Lucic would have gotten really badly injured if he wasn't Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
And now this, it's like Sammy Blake couldn't even put pressure on his leg.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked bad, and I know we haven't heard anything yet, but it looks like he's going to be sidelined for quite a bit.
He's our first line winger.
He
Come on
shouldn't be,
now.
but he is.
Oh goodness, I love
Yeah.
Sammy
So a
Blay
little
though.
little bit of line jumbling coming up, and I know the legendary Greg McKegg has been sent down. That's kind of making room for Heaton, hopefully.
That
Um,
hopefully that means he's playing tomorrow.
right. That's what I'm thinking. But now you got to jumble the lines a little bit and move some pieces around, and who gets called up?
Yeah,
I guess I don't know. Morgan Barron, maybe.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I like Morgan
Yeah.
Barron.
But we'll see. 2 games coming up this week. It was 3 games. I was talking about that as well. But the whole Ottawa situation now.
Ottawa
Um,
ruins everything.
yeah, so that kind of stinks. I know. It would have been nice to beat them up again.
We didn't even really beat them up.
I know, but you know, um, I know that was a close game if I remember correctly.
Yes, we scored 3 goals. That was the game we scored 3 goals in.
Yes, in the last minute. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
last 5 minutes.
Hey, a
And
win's a win.
Senators fans called Kreider, names
Oh God,
because
yeah.
he
Yep. Yep.
accidentally fell into Murray, as if Murray's like Vasilevsky.
Listen, Murray is world class. Just
Hey,
kidding.
he's out of his prime. We'll make him look like a Vezina candidate against
Yeah.
us.
So Jacob Trouba now on a 3-game point streak, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
4
And
points in three
obviously
games, guys.
you got very emotional to say the least when he scored.
We're not going to talk about it.
There is
Oh.
video proof out there if anybody wants to you know, take a look see at that because there is. Um, I know
That got
I joked with you about it, but it's like, what happens if the guy ever solves world hunger or cures cancer or something? Like the guy scored a goal and I almost had to resuscitate you.
it's not often this man scores a goal.
Well, that's true,
I'm
but he
enjoying
did
it.
play a hell of a game on
Oh,
Saturday,
that second
for sure.
period was his.
Yep, yep. Played very good
Oh,
offensively. More importantly, played very good defensively.
made
Um,
up for that screen in the first period that you
yeah,
called him out
I
for.
didn't want to bring that up, but yeah,
I'll bring it up because that was his fault, and I will
yeah,
admit that.
yep.
but
But
he very much made up for it.
yes, he did. He played very well, and um,
He played well
Rangers.
yesterday too, defensively.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Got
Yeah,
another
and again,
point.
it's consistency. That's what we need, obviously, from everybody. But um, not everybody can be Fox and Lindgren consistent. We get that. Um,
Unfortunately.
but yeah, but our second D pairing, they got to be, you know, more consistent, and they are. They've been getting much more consistent, and you saw Keandre with that speed he had when he scored that goal.
Coast to
Um,
coast, Neil
yeah,
Pionk
very very good
impression.
skater he is. Came back and made a couple defensive plays yesterday. Um, and then the
Keandre
third
Miller
pairing
is
is
definitely getting better.
yeah, and then the third pairing is whatever. You know,
Nemeth.
I mean,
Nemo.
yeah, Nemeth.
Good
Nils.
old
Nils. This
Nemo.
is this is just a learning year for him.
Nils
And
has been playing pretty good. He's made some good
no,
team
he hasn't
plays.
been bad at all. Yeah, it's just you're not going to see anything spectacular from the third line, and you know what? That's fine as long as they again just play
Don't
play
make bad
solid defense. That's
mistakes,
what we need.
like Nemeth giving the puck up in front of the net and leading to a goal. But
Yeah, that would be one of those things that's not good.
no. And I just want to add, it doesn't help with Truba's play. And no, I'm not gonna sit here and be one of those people that's gonna trash talk Andrew Miller because he's still young. But
Right.
it's just people will harp on Truba constantly because that deep pairing's so bad, so automatically it's the vet's fault. But
Hmm.
the thing is, he's constantly, and not constantly, but like it's often that he has to recover for a rookie mistake by Keandre Miller, and that's what he's
Right.
there for. But
Hmm.
when it happens constantly, he can't really do it every
Yeah, you're
time.
not gonna right. Right. You're not even expected to do that a lot. You know what I mean?
No,
It's again,
it's
you can pick up the
no.
slack here or there, of course, but it's not on him to do that. And then everybody just goes back to the contract. And again, it's not right. It's just that's what it is, and we shouldn't judge a player on that. It's just that's how it is.
I'll pay him if that's what they want with my fake $8 million that I
What with your
totally
monopoly
have.
money?
Yeah, with my Monopoly money.
All right, so what do we
I
got?
would like to
Montreal
touch
coming up
on
next.
I would like to touch on Georgiev shutting me the
I
hell
did
up.
actually. I did. I gave him props.
He shut me the hell up.
Yep, I gave him props. He played extremely well. Um, and it's nice to see him now being able to gain some confidence from,
Oh, thank
stopping
God.
breakaways, which has been his,
Yeah, now he just needs to close his 5 hole.
yeah, yeah. But
That was a
listen,
little rough.
again, he's not going to play much. We know that. And it's tough for a goalie, um, to stay fresh and loose and on top of his game. It definitely is. But
It's
that's the way
definitely
it is.
different.
And
It's definitely different because, when Shesterkin was first up, it was the three goalies, and Hank was barely playing at that point. So he got a
yeah,
lot more playing time, and it's kind of just a weird shift. And, I mean, it's not every day you see a backup goalie who's going to play like 15 games a year, if that, make a Scorpion save.
right. Yeah, that was a beautiful thing.
Just absolute, like, I think I heard my stepdad downstairs, like, just go lucky. Just
And Micheletti, of course,
lucky.
that is fabulous, fabulous save.
Fabulous, Sam.
But he deserved it, and again, he deserves the credit. He gets ripped when he deserves that too. So, when he plays well, you got to give him the credit too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then
good for
Kreider with
Georgie.
his first shootout attempt in 8 years.
Yeah, he was 0 for 1 in his career, and now he's 1 for 2, so 50%.
And
And
Gallant
that
said,
was
I don't know if you saw the post game interview with Gallant, but first they started up by asking Gallant if he knew that was Kreider's first shootout attempt in 8 years. He did. I guess he didn't know the exact time or whatever, but he was like 8 years. But then he was like, well, no, he was sort of hiding at the end of the bench though. And he goes,
oh
and
yeah, I saw
Foxy
that
was
coming.
next. He goes, Foxy was next up, and I think he was hiding a little bit too. And then
Wow,
they were
that would
like,
have been cool. That would have been cool to see Fox go.
yeah, they were
I
like,
mean,
do
I'm
you
glad it didn't
ask
get
do
to
you
that point, but
they were like, do you ask the players at all, like who wants to go? And he's like, God no. It's just,
yeah, you
oh
can't
my
do that. It's
God.
kind of
That
no,
shootout took
next
years
man
off
up.
my life.
I
Years off
mean,
my life.
what was it, 7 rounds?
Yeah.
Brutal.
Was Galan was
Brutal.
saying he was part of like the longest shootout like ever. It was like 22 rounds.
Oh, with Vegas?
Yeah, I don't know if it was with Vegas or with Florida. Was he a Florida coach or was that
No, he was Florida at one
it
point, yeah.
was Florida, right? I was thinking who it was before Vegas. I don't know, but he said it was like against the Capitals.
Wow.
It was like 22 rounds or something like that.
Imagine that, you're going through your whole friggin' bench.
Jesus.
We would have had Patrick Nemeth shooting.
Jacob Trouba shooting. Could you imagine? If we got to the point where he had to bring Jacob Trouba out there, I would have simply turned the TV off.
It would have been they scored on Georgie, and then Truba had to score to keep it going.
And Trouba wouldn't have scored.
Oh.
And then it really would be all his fault.
All right, well, Montreal coming up, then Toronto Thursday.
Is
So
Jake Allen healthy? I know he got like pummeled into.
I don't know if you have a clear concussion protocol or whatever, because he got kind of ran over a little bit.
I don't even know who their other goalie is. Didn't we play didn't we play their other goalie last time?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, we did. Who was there?
We did. I forget his name. I don't remember.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow, but
yeah.
Luis Rojas.
I'm not as mad about it as I thought I'd be.
Listen, third base coach is, no offense, but one of the more, I don't want to say irrelevant coaches, because you look at the impact Phil Nevin had last year.
Phil Nevin.
But it's not a make or break.
It's not a manager.
Thing. Right.
He's not a manager. I just think it's funny that the two managers that got the most like shit last year are now all working for the same team.
Yeah, I know. I saw a couple of things. People were like, "Oh, great, Boone and Rojas. This should be fun."
Boone and Rojas, what a duo!
Yep. But listen, as long as he doesn't pull a Phil Nevin, I think we'll be okay. More importantly, though, I was reading another thing too. It was like, oh, last time a former, what was it? A former or a future Met manager was the Yankees' third base coach. They went on to win 4 World Series, and that was Willie Randolph.
Everything is pointing at us winning the World Series this year, with the Braves winning, and now
right.
this.
So you know what that means, right?
That we have to win the World Series this year.
No, that we're not going to.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about Carlos Correa saying Derek Jeter didn't deserve his Gold Gloves?
I think Carlos Correa's a word I cannot say. Well, no, because this is the thing. I know they talked about this on the Michael K show. If we're gonna give Carlos Correa a ridiculous amount of time, okay, sign him for 4 years, but he's not gonna take that. So that's the thing, is if you're so confident in Volpe, why are you going to invest this many years in another shortstop? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. You know
that's
what?
The thing. They need to make a decision on that quick, because they have to move some pieces around for the 40-man roster. And if the young kid shortstops aren't on the 40-man roster, they're going to be up in the Rule 5 draft, which means, anybody can take them.
And God forbid, if worse comes to worse and we can't get anyone because we're worried about, not giving this Volpe kid enough of a chance, we need to figure out what we're going to do. Is Glaber playing second? Who's playing short? What's happening? Is Gio going to play short?
Yeah, well, that's why the appeal of Seager apparently is higher than Correa. Yeah, because then you could just move him to third base. Mm-hmm. Although, like I said, can Correa play third? I don't know.
I don't think he wants to, though.
Right. He's a great athlete. I'm sure he can, but that's the thing. You got to be willing. And
Corey Seager's probably going to be less money, too.
Yes, I would think he would be less money. Eduardo Rodriguez, former Red Sox pitcher, he signed with the Tigers today.
I saw that.
Yeah, so Tigers looking to spend some money, and they've been linked to Correa as well. I don't know if they'll spend that sort of money, but
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Guess whose favorite team is the Tigers?
Guess whose favorite team is the Tigers? It's either Truba or Zegers.
It's Truba from
Okay, there you
Michigan.
go.
He's from Michigan.
Well, he doesn't know any better. What do you want?
There's your fun fact of the day. He's a poor Truba, man. He's a Lions fan. He's a freaking grew up a Red Wings fan, which that probably wasn't that bad. But he's a freaking Tigers fan. He's got it
Yeah,
rough.
growing up a Red Wings fan was good for him. He got all
Yeah,
those
at
Stanley
least
Cups.
that was good for him.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, again, the collective bargaining agreement is up December 1st or 2nd, whatever it is. So there's also been reports though that some of these big time shortstops might sign before then. Because
Yeah,
you don't know how long the lockout, quote unquote, is going to last.
it's gonna
So
be slow.
yeah, I mean, again, Eduardo Rodriguez signing today. That's it's nice to see at least not a big star, but a notable pitcher
No,
signing.
he's definitely an addition.
Yeah, so it's good to see that happening at least. But a lot of these players, I don't know if they want to wait because if this thing drags out a couple months, they're not going to know who they're playing with, what the deal is, and then it's kind of going to be a frenzy where it's like, you don't have the time to go back and forth with a team and negotiate this, that,
Yeah,
the other
no.
thing. It's like, I don't know. I think it might be beneficial for some of this, maybe a Seager, maybe a Marcus Simeon to, potentially land a contract before the lockout.
Yeah, I don't know. And the other thing that's kind of going through my mind is this year they're actually going to trade Sanchez, or are they just saying it again?
I know. Yeah, we're open to trading Sanchez. We know that. You're open to trading Sanchez every year.
And you
We've gone
never
through this a million
actually do it.
times.
And you
But
know
what
what?
does that
I
mean?
wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset with Higashioka as our starting catcher. Because you know what? He was solid this year. Maybe not offensively, but defensively, he was great.
He can't be a starter.
You know what? God forbid, though, you need him to be. Because Sanchez sucks.
Yeah, defensively, you're not
It's not
worried,
the
but
worst thing in the world.
you got to get some sort of offense from your catcher. It's just how it
Hey,
has to be.
Higashioka tied that game that one time against Toronto. Which we ended up losing, but
I think he
he
had
tied
a
it.
3-homer game this year, right? Or was that last year? I don't remember.
This year, Higashioka?
It
I
might have
don't
been
think that
last
was
year.
this year. I don't think that
Yeah,
was this year. He
but
did homer a couple times, though.
a lot of talk of Matt Olson. Um, do they trade Voit? Do they just re-sign
Yes.
Rizzo and keep Voit? Um,
Or sign Freddie Freeman for 6 years.
yeah, I don't even want to hear that. Listen, I love Freeman. Trust me, I love him.
I do too.
But he's talking 6 years, $200 million. No way. No
He's 32,
way.
right?
Yeah, 32.
No way
I
anyone
think
wants to
Rizzo's
pay until he's
32 as well,
38.
but Rizzo's not
But
going to.
Rizzo's not
Rizzo's probably
asking
going to
for
get a
6
4-year
years.
deal. Yeah,
Rizzo's not asking for 6 years, though. That's the difference.
I could see Rizzo as a 4-year deal.
I would like Rizzo for 3, but 4 will do.
Yeah,
He
but
probably wants 5. They probably want 3.
right. So
So we'll do
I think you
4.
could live with 4. Um, you know, then DJ becomes that kind of super utility guy that you envisioned him as when you first signed him.
Hey, don't forget, we still got Tyler Wade.
Tyler Wade.
Man can play every position.
Right, but can he hit the baseball?
Sometimes.
Not so
We saw
much.
he had that one really good series against the Royals
Oh God.
where he got like 5 hits. That was amazing. That's like Jacob
Yep.
Trouba scoring a goal.
But yeah, we'll see because I think it's definitely going to be one of those off seasons where the Yankees do, make a big splash. And another one of the interesting things with the Yankees this year is what do you do with Judge?
If they don't
He's
extend him before the season starts, I'm going to be very
he's
upset with them.
entering his last year of arbitration, and I mean, what do you do? Do you say, hey, let's see if he can stay healthy again, and then we'll sign him long term? But then you run the risk, and I don't see this happening, but you never know, of the New York Metropolitans just going out, going balls to the wall and offering him, some ridiculous contract.
I would simply not watch baseball. If Aaron Judge was a Met, that
Imagine that.
just that sounds wrong. It sounds wrong coming out of my mouth. No, that's disgusting. That's like disrespectful of freaking Steve Cohen if he does that.
Um, well, he's the owner of the Mets and he wants to make his team better, right? So
Yes, that's still disrespectful. That's like trying to trade for Derek Jeter.
it's funny. I remember when Jeter was a free agent and there was talk of the Red Sox going after him.
Oh God.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine how history would
No.
look then. I mean, obviously he was towards the end of his career anyway, but that would have been something.
That's terrible.
That's not just like Johnny Damon being a Yankee and a Red Sox. That's Derek freaking Sanderson Jeter.
Well, Judge said if it was up to him, he'd be a Yankee for the next 10 years.
Well,
So clearly, him wanting to be here is an issue.
right. And, it's just it's finances. And this year could be tough to put that big contract on him because, again, Britain out for the year. And I don't know how that works with insurance now, if
Yeah, do we
whatever,
still
but
have to
I
pay
think
him an
it
absurd
still
amount?
counts. But yeah, but I think it still counts against the, towards the salary cap threshold.
It's dumb. It
Um,
defeats the purpose.
yeah, and then Chapman making his 18 million a year, and oof,
Chapman
you
making $8
gotta.
million a year to give up grand slams in the ninth inning.
I mean, Cashman was even saying, he's like, I got some latitude this year because we don't have a lot coming off the books. He knows
Mm-hmm.
that they got to improve the team, obviously, but you know, they pretty much have the whole roster locked in. So there's going to have to be some trades. There's going to be some non-tendering of contracts. Um, I can't see them doing anything with Andujar or Frazier, unfortunately, except maybe tendering them a contract and then trading them. Um, and Frazier too. Cashman said that Frazier will talk about his issues when
His
he's ready.
issue, yeah. He said that
So
it's like really affecting him, Frazier, and I feel bad for the guy. He was a good player. I
yeah,
think this is going to get to the point where he's not going to be able to play baseball
yeah.
again.
I'm just curious to know exactly what it was.
Yeah, because originally, what was it, like dizziness and
Yeah,
like his eyesight?
yeah, blurry vision and stuff. Yeah,
It's weird. He's getting
yep.
married soon, I think.
Well, congratulations, Red.
I love him. And then the other thing I'm just thinking about now is, they looked at Justin Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I'm hesitant about that is because it's like very much Corey Kluber vibes. Just fresh off Tommy John. We're going to sign him to a 1-year deal. Is he going to get hurt, barely into the season too? Is he going to miss most of the season because he's going to get hurt like Corey Kluber did? It's just a risk I don't know if the Yankees can afford to take with their
Yeah,
pitching.
I mean, if they can get him, obviously, there's talk that he wants a 2-year deal. So,
I don't
I mean,
like
he has a
that.
great track record.
Isn't he like
Obviously,
39?
yeah, he's 38 or 39. Yeah,
Jeez.
I know. His
Is he going to
bullpen,
be in a wheelchair?
his, his throwing session for the 15 to 18 teams or whatever that were there, he was hitting 93 to 95, and he had good command from what you read. Um, again, is he able to grind through a 162 game season? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But again, if it's a small investment, you know, I say small, very lightly, but 10, $12 million, something like that for a 1-year deal. The risk reward, I think it's worth it.
hmm
Because if you have Cole, Verlander, Monty, Severino, and I guess Tyone when he comes back, because he might miss the first couple weeks of the season. You feel okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all just like I just get worried. Pitching has not been kind to us.
That's true. Well, we will see what happens, and um, again over the next couple days, I think the next 2 weeks or so, we'll kind of get a little more clarity on the roster, layout with the 40-man and who's going to be eligible for the Rule 5 draft and all that. So we'll kind of see a little more of what it looks like the Yankees' plans are, at least at shortstop. And that'll give us an idea. And who knows, maybe you get a surprise team or something like that comes in and, signs one of these big shortstops, in the next week or so and shocks everybody and, throws a wrench into everybody's plans.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No,
That would
that's the
definitely
beauty
be
of the
something that
hot
could
stove.
happen. The Rays are just going to get rid of everyone and then, win the World Series.
They trade Mike Brasso for some guy you never heard of who's going to be the AL MVP next year. So
Literally.
just be prepared for that.
That's my official prediction already.
Yep, I forgot the guy's name even, but he's MVP right now. Mark it down.
That's like it's an easier decision than Andrew Heaney being a Cy Young favorite next year.
Andrew Heaney getting paid what he's paid from the Dodgers. Holy God!
What was it, $8 million?
If it was $8, it'd be too much. Brutal. Whatever, man. They could have him. Glad, thanks for nothing.
You know what? We say this, and you know what? He's gonna pitch against us and just throw a complete 9-inning shutout.
In Game 7 of the World Series.
Yep.
Oh,
Did you hear
you're
that?
being summoned.
Seriously. Jack, what? Okay, tell them I'll be down in like 10 minutes.
Well, perfect timing. We're wrapping up anyway, so.
One more thing. I wanted to
One more
say
thing.
something about the Knicks.
Okay.
Because they stress me out. And
Yeah.
it's like Rangers in third periods, Knicks in third quarters. It must be an MSG thing. Because just they will come out, with fire, wheeling, dealing, slicing and dicing.
Wheeling and dealing.
And the first half is just theirs. Even if they only come out of it with like a 3-4 point lead, it's still they were dominant. They were a good basketball team. And then the third quarter comes, and you check at the end of the third quarter, and all of a sudden they're down by like 12
they're down
points.
by 12. It's like, what the hell just happened? Yeah.
It's for a multitude of reasons. They're taking too many fouls. Which I might not agree with every call that's made, but right. Mitchell Robinson, I know he's a big guy, but he needs to understand that he's a big guy.
Right.
And also not get hurt every game.
That would be good.
And then Julius Randle has been taking a couple offensive fouls, which is another issue. And RJ Barrett has been good on both ends, but still taking a lot of fouls. And that comes back to bite them because every team in this league, except the Knicks, takes advantage of free throws.
Yeah, they're good, very good free throw shooting team. Yep.
So they need to
listen. 7-6 is not the worst start, but when you started out, what were we 5-1 or something?
Yeah.
That's that's not where you want to be.
You need to just be better. It's not. And Tom Thibodeau probably screams at them every night, and it's in their nightmares. It's just
as he should.
He probably recorded himself screaming, and they have to listen to it at night. They put in their earbuds and just him screaming at them, and it works because we saw. I remember I was watching a game, and Obi Toppin kept missing free throws, and he was bad. You see the camera pans over to Thibodeau screaming at him. His face is like a tomato. And then Toppin goes out, hits a couple threes, gets a couple dunks, and we're back in the game. So, the fear factor of it.
Yeah.
That's another thing is Obi Toppin's been impressing me.
It's got to start coming together, though. They got to start playing complete games, 48 minutes. And, it's one of those things. We're done kind of with the developing and all that stuff. I know we still have some young players, but let's go. We got into the playoffs last year as the 4 seed. Let's do it again, and let's win around and
win more than one game, and not let Trae Young own our franchise.
Brutal.
It's just bad. Now quick around the league thing. Trevor Zegras, 2 goals, 1 assist in 1 game. Very much helped my fantasy teams. but also would like to question good old Ducks coach, whose name I can't remember right now because I'm that mad at him. Vancouver pulls their goalie, which since when is Halak on Vancouver? Anyway, they pull Halak. He's in the bench. There's like 3 minutes of the game left. Trevor Zegras, he has got 2 goals. He's got an assist. He's one goal away from the first hat trick, not only of his NHL career, but of his life. He was mic'd up and he was like, I never had a hat trick before in my life. Isn't that sad? And they don't put him at a single shift. Troy Terry's one thing. He's been on fire. You got
God, what has
Adam
he got? 12-game point streak?
Yeah, freaking Troy Terry's absurd right now. You got Adam Henrique out there, who ends up getting the empty netter. But Troy Terry missed an empty net, and I think it was Sonny Milano who missed an empty net. You know who wouldn't have missed an empty net? Trevor Zegras. And he would have had a hat trick. And you know what? There were 3 minutes left in the game, and now 1 second of those 3 minutes was Trevor Zegras on the ice.
Well,
it's frustrating for me to watch. And then the other thing is that we all know Brady Tkachuk is the new captain of the Ottawa Senators, their first since Erik Karlsson. Good old Erik Karlsson, who I genuinely forgot existed. Because I don't even know anyone who's on the Sharks anymore, except him and Brent Burns.
Right.
And
Hurdle's still there, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right, because there were rumors about the Rangers trading for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors about the Rangers trading for about everyone in this league.
It's true.
So, I don't know if you saw the clip, but it was Calgary versus Ottawa. And during warm-ups, Matthew and Brady are always by each other, of course. Brotherly
love.
He
said something about his mom is the real boss in the offseason
and Matthew kind of just,
with the captain.
Brushes off his A. And he's like, what is this? And then after the game, he said, yeah, it's my first time seeing him with the C, but I think we all know who the real captain is. It's actually my mom, probably. And hats off to that. I agree. That family, I love that family just altogether. They're kind of iconic.
Yeah, well, Keith was he was a stud NHL player.
Now, do you think Matthew Tkachuk ends up in St. Louis? Because Calgary is not going to be good for very much longer.
I don't know. Calgary's they're playing well. So
they're weird.
Yeah, I don't know. They're very streaky. They'll go out and win 4 games, then lose 4 games. I don't know. It's too early to tell.
I don't know, because to me, when I first started watching hockey, they were the team that made the playoffs, but then after they made the playoffs, you never heard about them again.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was just, they were that team that you knew they were good during the regular season, and you knew that they were a team to be worried about playing. I remember one year we played them, it was the last game of the season, and we just got smoked.
Yeah.
And
it's always
they're
tough
one
going
of the
to
teams.
Calgary, too.
What?
It's always tough going to Calgary to play.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam Fox knows that. And it's just, they were one of those teams that was a great regular season team and just didn't do anything in the playoffs. They never got, it was never, they're about to win the Stanley Cup. No, it was never anything like that. It was never anything Islanders-like where, they're 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final. It was nothing like that. So they're a weird team to me because I expected them, which they should have made the playoffs last season. I will stand by this. They had more wins than the Montreal
last season
Canadiens.
was Fugazi, so you don't even worry about that.
This year, I wasn't expecting them to be as good as they are, and I think the big part of why they're good is Jacob Markstrom playing out of his mind.
He's been fabulous.
He's been a Vezina, he's playing Vezina caliber hockey right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it definitely doesn't hurt that their backup, Dan Vladar, has been lights out as well.
No.
They've both been so solid, and you know what? What's it like having, a solid 2 goalie tandem? I don't remember.
Settle down.
Don't worry, Georgie. I still love you.
Yeah,
but
it'll be all right.
They're definitely a team it's going to be one of the more interesting teams to watch just because it could literally go either way. And you know what? If they do make the playoffs, which I think at this point they will, just are they going to be a good playoff team? Because they are so streaky. Because you go on a 4-game cold streak, you're out.
Right. Yeah, but
That's it.
you can always get really far with a good goalie, and if Markstrom, you know,
Keeps it up.
plays like he's been playing, he can carry them at least to a round.
Yeah. They're not going to
So,
pull the Leafs. Speaking of
mm,
Leafs, love you,
the
Morgan
Leafs.
Riley.
Yeah. Your Morgan Riley shirt's on the way, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I have to ask him when his Trouba shirt's coming. Shout out,
That
producer
Trouba
Clark,
shirt is
and
awesome, by the way.
shout out producer Clark and the Squadcast. If you guys don't listen to the Squadcast, you should. They have a YouTube channel, and they live stream. I think it's every Tuesday. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know.
8 in the PM.
They're Canadian, so it's different for them.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Did you know
All right.
Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan were two different places?
I think I did.
I thought that they were the same and people just pronounced it differently.
No, I never really gave much thought on it, to be honest with you. Because it
Why
really
would they
doesn't
make them
affect
so
my life.
Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan? I literally thought they were the same place. All right, moving on.
All right, moving
That's
on.
enough.
That is it. Episode number 35 in the books.
Mike Richter.
Mike Richter, yes. Henrik Lundqvist at one point.
Henrik Lundqvist when he played for Sweden.
Yep. All right, so let's see what this week of Rangers hockey brings. We do play on Sunday, though, as well, because Saturday, Sunday was going to be another back-to-back. So 3 games
At least
this
that
week.
means we don't have to see Georgie.
Yeah, 3 games this week. Hopefully Igor plays in all 3. Hopefully we win all 3, and let's just keep on moving up
Trouba hat trick.
All right, settle down. He's not going to get a hat trick all season, like combined. So, all right.
He had 2
Until
last
next
year.
time, folks.
Be well.
Be well.